This lesson is for section 6.3 on solving multi-step inequalities. So today we're going to solve and graph inequalities that have more than one step to them. Okay, in example number 1, we're going to solve this just like we would a normal equation. If this had an equal sign, the first thing we would want to do is distribute. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to distribute that -2 to get -2x plus 12. And then from here we want to isolate the x. So we're going to subtract 12. And then we're left with -2x, after this cancels, is less than -2. Now at this point, to get the x alone, we're actually going to have to divide by a -2. And if we remember from what we did earlier today in class, that means we have to flip that sign. So we have x is greater than 1. So this is my answer, and when I graph this, I'll have a 1 here, open circle, shaded to the right. In example 2, we're going to start the same way. We're going to distribute here. And we're left with -x plus 2 minus 5 is greater than or equal to -1. Now on the left-hand side here, I can combine like terms. See how I have a +2 and a -5? I can combine those together, so I'm left with -x minus 3 is greater than or equal to -1. Now this is another two-step inequality here, so I'm just going to add 3 on both sides. I'm left with -x, once this cancels, is greater than or equal to +2. Again, to get that -1 out in front here of the x, I have to divide by a -1, which means I'm going to have to flip the sign. Okay, so here again we have to flip. So when we flip, we are left with x is less than or equal to -2. And when I go ahead and graph that, I'm going to place -2 here, closed circle, 0 would be to the right, and then I can shade all to the left. Okay. Perfect. So really the idea here when you're solving stays the same. You're just going to flip the sign if you ever have to multiply or divide by a negative, but we solve it just the same we would with an equation. So it's just adding some steps to it basically. Now for the last problem here, we have a little word problem, and we're going to write an inequality that models the word problem. So this says a person must be at least 52 inches tall to ride the Tower of Terror ride at Disney World. We're going to let h represent the height of any person who wants to ride it and meets the requirement. So we're going to write an inequality that describes this situation. So if h is the height of any person, we want to make sure that they're at least 52 inches tall. Now this word "at least" sometimes confuses people. They think that there's supposed to be a less than symbol, but actually that's not correct. If you're at least 52 inches tall, that means you're greater than or equal to 52, right? It's actually supposed to be more than 52. So we're going to write h is greater than or equal to 52. That's actually all that we want for our answer, and that's it here. So we're just writing an inequality that describes the situation. So the height here is greater than or equal to 52. Okay, that's the end, guys. It's a really short one. Tomorrow we're going to do some practice with some multi-step and some word problems. Good job. See you tomorrow.